Oak City Move is a podcast on WKNC's 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh where we highlight people and organizations creating positive change in the Triangle and beyond. Oak City Move can be heard on air every other Monday on 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh or online at wknc.org/listen. For episodes and more information, go to our blog at blog.wknc.org or follow us on SoundCloud at WKNC 881. Hello, 88.1 WKNC Raleigh. This song you guys just heard was House of Mango by Surf Ninja 3. I am Sophia Magnanini and you're listening to Oak City Move. Today we'll be speaking with Delaina Epps Avery, the Associate Director for Interpersonal Violence Services at NC State's Women's Center, as well as two representatives from InterAct, Shelby Klapec, who is a Personal Economic Empowerment Program Case Manager, and Taylor Price, the Sexual Assault Case Manager at InterAct Solace Center. And so I'm really glad that I'm getting the chance to meet all of you. Let's just get right into it. Let's start with introductions. Delaina, if you want to start first, can you tell us a bit about yourself and the role you play in your organization?
Yes, hi. My name is Delaina Epps Avery, and I serve as the Associate Director of Interpersonal Violence Services at NC State Women's Center. In my role, I lead our survivor advocacy and response efforts. I coordinate campus-wide prevention programming, and I oversee a team of staff, interns, and student leaders committed to addressing and preventing gender-based violence. I bring over 30 years of experience in IPV advocacy, including 16 years of leadership at InterAct prior to coming to the university. So I started at the university in November of 2023 and going into my second year here and enjoying the work.
That's great. Shelby, Taylor, if one of you guys want to start next.
Sure. Well, you have an InterAct cohort here today, I will say. So we're in good company. But yes, my name's Taylor Price, Sexual Assault Case Manager at Interactive Wake, and I work a lot out of our Solace Center. So what that looks like is me supporting survivors. Well, I'll take that back. Myself and an army of volunteers that we have trained supporting survivors of sexual violence in the community. We do that through case management services, through crisis management services, as well as providing free forensic examinations for anyone who has experienced sexual violence in Wake County.
That's awesome. And Shelby?
I am Shelby Klapec, PEEPS case manager, the Personal Economic Empowerment Program. We refer to it as PEEPS. So my role primarily is working with domestic violence survivors, doing case management, helping them find employment, find housing, all the different needs that they may have.
That's awesome. And this is kind of a question for all of you guys. What initially drew you to this work and what has kept you passionate about it?
So I came to this work as a survivor, and it's been deeply personal for me to do this work. Early on, I saw gaps in the support and the harm caused when survivors aren't believed or when they aren't correctly resourced. Over time, my passion has grown through relationships that I've built with survivors, with students, with my colleagues who've trusted me with their stories and reminded me of the power of showing up with compassion and consistency. What keeps me here is the transformation that I witness every single day. It's moments when I watch students and women and children reclaim their power, when someone finds safety, or when someone feels heard for the very first time. It brings me back to this work again and again because I see the impact that we're making, but also I see the safety that we provide for people when they need a safe place to be.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that I got into this field by chance and fell in love. When I was in college, I got an internship. And so I've been doing it ever since. It's been quite a while now. And I just enjoy working with the clients. I love the one-on-one connection and being able to see their process through.
Cool. And I personally came to this work as a survivor as well. I began that journey as a young adult and didn't really know that this work existed until I came to college. So I was kind of dealing with being a survivor, feeling all of those aftermath effects. And then coming to college, I became a peer educator and realized that this was really one, very needed, and two, something I would have been very thankful to have in terms of like having an advocate, being educated about consent, and just really, really, I found my passion here and have continued to grow. I've been really lucky to work for different nonprofits, different legal entities. So I've been really thankful to have different perspectives of the work throughout my career.
Mm, that's amazing. Yeah, coming in as a survivor and you're getting this help and then turning around and now you're being able to help people just like you, which that's awesome. But over the years, have you guys, since you're all are a part of InterAct right now and the Student Center as well, or the Women's Center, have you guys seen like a change in the recent years or like a growth that has been going through this organization?
I would say throughout my time working in this field, it has been growing. The Me Too movement obviously really allowed folks to have a voice in a way that they didn't have before. And that to me is where I saw the big catalyst. Obviously, that's also kind of the time I began entering the work. So I think that that might be perspective as well. Um, but I would say that I've seen a lot of growth in communities and just like the greater society of understanding maybe what survivors experience and survivors themselves just having a stronger voice.
Mhm.
Yes, I would agree with Taylor that because I have done this work for almost 30 years. I'm dating myself, and so I have seen tremendous growth in the field. What saddens me still is that we're still doing this work every day, and that is still we're putting in 100% every day to prevent sexual violence, and so that's what saddens me about the work. But I have seen the work change in so many ways over the years, and the support for survivors change in so many ways. To Taylor's credit, talking about what happens in the community, that the community has really started to come together to try to prevent sexual violence. But the sadness still remains for me that we are still doing this work every day.
Yeah.
I would also say I've seen lots of growth in many areas, um, but particularly just providing the services to anyone, making people more aware that, it's not just a women's problem and it's not just a certain age group or certain bracket of people, that it's definitely a lot more inclusive, even, in laws and legal documents and stuff. It's become more inclusive in just the recent years.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you guys been doing any programs or such to kind of get more reach where it's kind of showing people that like this isn't just meant for women, it's for everyone. If you need help, like you can come here. This is a safe space.
Um, we've been really lucky, my program specifically, to be invited to a lot of different events that center male survivors. Recently, I want to say this was April for National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but my brain may be confusing April and May. We did the Accelerating Men Summit, where several different nonprofits came together to speak to male survivorhood. And that was really, really amazing. To kind of piggyback off what Shelby said, I think there sometimes is a misconception in the community that it's one, a women's issue,
Mm.
and two, that maybe InterAct only serves women, which both are not true. This can really happen to anyone, and it does. And that's why it's important that we serve everyone.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. One of the challenges we have as well, because the Women's Center has the name of the Women's Center, is that often students who don't identify as women may not realize that the services that are in the Women's Center are for all students on campus. So we do try to do a good job of making sure that we're being very vocal about that on campus, so that students who would look at that name and would think that it would not include them know that it's an inclusive space for everyone. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows that the Women's Center is open to provide services for anyone who encounters sexual violence on our campus.
And I'll piggyback off what Taylor said, go into the events and stuff. We try to go to different types of events that wouldn't be where you normally think of. For example, I've done a tabling event at a Hurricanes game. We also went to a Durham Bulls game. So that, again, those people just to see that we're there,
Hmm.
just to be able to know.
Oh yeah, that's great. Like making sure getting it out to the community, making everyone kind of feel welcome. Uh, Delana, is there any kind of like core programs or resources that the Women's Center offers, like for students that are specific you'd like to talk about?
Yes, absolutely. So we primarily only serve students. If there are staff who encounter any of these issues, then they have a different part of our department that they can go and talk to, or we also do refer our faculty and staff to Interact as well. And so if we encounter faculty or staff that need assistance, we will do a referral to Interact. But in our center, we provide advocacy and resource mapping for survivors of interpersonal violence. Um, we do programming like workshops and educational campaigns, and we have peer educators that are called the movement that are within our center. And so our peer educators go out and do community building events. We do expressive arts workshops. We do wellness days to promote healing and resilience. We also have a survivor fund that students can access that they can receive emergency funding for anything that they may have encountered during their incident. And so they may have like costs for counseling or costs for housing to move, for safety, different safety things for their homes. So we provide a survivor fund for that, so that students can get the help that they need to be able to move forward. But also we partner with agencies like Interact and other agencies in the community to do larger events like around Domestic Violence Awareness Month and Stalking Awareness Month and Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so that we're doing larger campaigns to connect with the community. I think we've done a really good job this year of working together, Interact and NC State, to really promote our events and get folks involved and letting folks know that they're there, because we want to be able to reach into the community as well. NC State is a state university. It is a public university. And so we want to make sure that we're connecting with our greater community as well.
Right, that's awesome. And for Shelby and Taylor, can you also kind of give a little piggyback off of what Delaina was saying with how Interact collaborates with the Women's Center, and how that kind of, how you guys think that broadens the spectrum to the community?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, if there's any students listening, if you haven't been to an NC State Women's Center event, I'm going to tell you right now, they are amazing. And I have witnessed some profound testimonies, had a really fun time, just enjoying community. But on the flip side, we as an organization at Interact have been really glad to be involved in those events. And so specifically, we always partner without fail, thankfully, for Domestic and Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which occur in October and April every year. We're also involved in a sexual assault response team together within Wake County, so that we make sure our services are kind of coordinated. Like Delaina was saying, they serve students. We can serve students as well, but we also serve the larger community. So when someone may not fit in the student category, but is, a part of the NC State family, they can come our way as well. But yeah, those are the big events we always tend to partner with, though I'm sure we will continue to partner in new ways, maybe in years to come.
That's great. And do you guys feel, what strengths do you think that both sides kind of bring in this partnership?
Well, I think certainly Interact has a lot of history and to bring to the table, but also just great advocates. I think just having them as a community partner has been great for the Women's Center, because we don't, of course, because our center is not confidential. Sometimes students are looking for a confidential space for them to be able to share this information, and Interact stands in the gap when we need that. So I can't even speak enough about how great of a collaboration that we have seemed to be having for over the last year. It's been really amazing. We've come together for different events. We've been able to share information in a way that we're able to give wraparound services to the students that we serve, but also the students that come into their office from our university to be served. I think just we do a really good job of working together. So I just cannot be happier about the way that we have collaborated over the last year or so, and just look forward to being able to continue this collaboration as we go forward.
Well, that is mutual. And yeah, I think Delane is right. The big way that we step in is we are confidential, whereas the Women's Center right now, is not a confidential resource. I think both are needed. And so where, a student can navigate, what works best for them and where they're going to feel the most comfortable. And thankfully, they have that choice.
Yes, yeah, I agree with both that. And I definitely say that confidentiality piece is definitely what helps when a lot of times students might think, well, I don't want school to know what's going on. So then, yeah, they can come to us and then school won't have to know anything.
Mhm.
Yes. But it's also a way for us to be able to ensure that students know that the resources that we provide on campus are still there for them and available for them, whether or not they share the details of what happened with them. There's also ways for them to connect with those resources on campus without breaking their confidentiality as well. So we want to make sure that when we're having those conversations between InterAct and ourselves, that we are giving students all of the information so that they know that they have choices while they're navigating.
Yes, and I think that's really important. I just want to speak to that. Whenever a student will, if they present at the Solace Center for an exam, or even just call our crisis line to speak to someone in our SA department, they will receive information about the Women's Center, about the NC State Counseling Center, and we navigate confidentiality conversations so they know, their choices, and that it is a confidential resource, but there can be, ways in which that they can still be supported from that resource.
I feel, yeah, like you said, that's really important for people, especially going through these types of situations, to have that support and trust built, that they know that they're gonna continue to get this. That's really great. But earlier when we were talking about how a lot of people kind of think that your services are only for women, what are some other kind of common misconceptions do people have about the type of work that you guys do?
So we, because of that, I think that students also, I think the misconception with students also is that we have to, they can't come and receive services unless they tell all the information of what has occurred to them. And I think that that is a common misconception that may keep students from seeking services because they are not sure of where their information will land. But we want to make sure that students know that there are options for them to receive services of where they don't have to disclose, what happened to them, and that we can seek confidential services for them as well. But we want students to be sure that they know that they can come to the Women's Center to receive at least guidance and advocacy and emotional support going forward to help with their healing. So we do want them to have that information and know that this is a space for them to come and land safely so that we can help get them the right resources that they need.
Definitely agree with that. Another thing I would say is sometimes they think they have to be in the immediate crisis. Like, it could be something that happened 5 years ago, and they think, well, that was 5 years ago. They're not going to help me now. But no, we're here for any time. Because a lot of times things may come back to you 5 years later that are now causing issues. So, our crisis line is not just for crisis. You can call it just for information, and just to see what resources are there for you.
Yeah, and particularly with everything in the news right now around sexual assault and all the high profile cases that are happening right now in the news, we have a lot of folks that have been triggered by receiving that information every day, having to encounter that information every day. So we want to make sure that folks know that it's also a place where you can come and just get emotional support if you're just having a difficult time receiving some of the information that's circulating in the world right now.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
One final misconception, I want to kind of piggyback off of Shelby's because I think that's a really great thing to highlight. Our crisis line, that word crisis makes it sound like you need to be in an immediate emergency situation. And that obviously can be the case. And we encourage you to call if that is the case. But you absolutely can call just for support, just to be listened to. And you don't have to know what you need. I think that's also a misconception. I've talked to people who, relate that they wanted to call for so long, but they weren't sure what to ask for or what to talk about. We see clients all the time who present in person or on our crisis line that say, this is what I experienced and I don't know what I need. That's okay. There is no pressure. We're here to meet you where you're at. And we can navigate options to see, maybe what would work best for you. We won't make any decisions for you because that just wouldn't be productive or helpful. We want you to find what's going to be best and healing for you. But you don't have to know what you need. That's okay. I think that's a really fair place to start.
And that's just amazing for multiple reasons. And you guys are helping these people going through such tough times. And I wanted to ask, what kind of challenges have you guys faced doing this type of community-based trauma-informed work? And how have you worked through those?
I think that there is the one challenge that anyone in this field, regardless of whether you're in higher ed, you're in direct services and community nonprofits, whether you're, in law enforcement, whatever, secondary trauma is real. And secondary trauma means, experiencing or hearing the stories of folks, and that having an impact. Because if it didn't have an impact, I feel like that would be, maybe a problem. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be a human. So I think that's one of the big challenges in the field that we all face. And unfortunately, it requires you to really do some inner work of like, what's going to support you best to make this sustainable. Because we want to be here for survivors long term. And so, that looks so differently for everyone. And it changes over time. So I think that's like the individual thing that we go through. But I think systemically, on an organizational level, we also go through kind of what we spoke to already, where there's some misconceptions in the community, maybe about the services we provide or who can access those services. And so the biggest thing I think is maintaining an open discourse with our community and with our partners so that we understand their services and they understand ours, and we can make sure everyone's supported in a way that's truly effective.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I agree with sometimes the misconceptions can keep people from seeking services. I think that that folks need to realize that we're constantly working upstream, we're building community, we're shifting culture, we're educating folks about healthy relationships and consent long before harm occurs, so that prevention starts early. And I want folks to know that survivors don't only need support once. So it's not like a one pony show. It's not like a one-stop show. A survivor can need support over and over and over again. And I think that's why it's important that institutions like ours and InterAct still remain, and we still are here to provide those services, because someone could seek services 2 years ago and then walk back in the doors 2 years later because they've been triggered again, or because they've entered a new relationship, or because they just don't even have any understanding of why they're going through an emotional uphill battle again. But we want to be there for folks as they land. And so I think that it's important for us to keep saying that these places are safe spaces for folks to land. And we may not have all the answers that you need right then. We may not be able to address all the things right then, but it's a continuous circle of support. And so we will continue to support folks as they need it.
I agree with both of you, and the misconceptions are definitely a big part of the problems, the challenges that we come across, and not just like at that individual level. It's with other organizations as well that are unaware with what we do. So a lot of how we overcome that is going to different meetings and stuff. I go to a community cares collaborative where it's a whole bunch of organizations from across the county. So then we're able to meet and learn more about each organization. So then everyone's then learning, what we are and what we do, as well as what everyone else.
That's very important, especially right now and what's going on just in the world in general. That constant support is probably very important for a lot of people. And also, to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, Shelby, what are some ways that you guys kind of find yourself using to ground or motivate you emotionally, since this is probably a very emotional line of work and hard on just yourself having to see these people go through these things? And so, yeah, I was just wondering what you guys do to kind of just keep going.
Well, I'm on vacation right now, so the work never stops. So I've been on vacation probably about 2 weeks now, but I still have been working. So because I do want to make sure that I show up when I can and how I can. So I take some time off. I have a very healing space in my yard, and during COVID, I think it was my opportunity to build a really healing and safe place for myself at my home. And so I have like a beautiful space. I call it the oasis in my backyard. And so I do spend time there. But as you can see, I will still show up to support and to educate and to prevent at any opportunity that I get. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think I'm really rooted in making sure that I show up when I can so that folks know that they're supported. So yeah, I do try to take time for myself and take some time to step away, but this work never stops. This is just the reality of it, is that the work never stops.
I say that it's important to find that work-life balance, that you know, getting the self-caring you need, and taking the vacations and having to sometimes do something. I know I had to do that. Our final support group was the week of my vacation, so I was doing the same thing. But then I also know then to take care of myself, and I think every day doing things like, especially on days that I'm on the crisis line, I make it a point to go outside and walk at some point in the morning, in the afternoon. I make my hardest to do it. Um, but just doing the little things so it doesn't start weighing you.
Yeah.
Shelby, I'm gonna have to start making you like drag me on those walks. That sounds lovely. Um, like I was saying earlier, I think this type of care changes over time. I think moving my body has been the best thing that I've learned. I don't know, I hit 25 and was like, wow, if I work out, I feel better, which is not profound, but it was for me. So that's really helpful. And therapy. Therapy is great. So finding what supports you, it might be therapy, it might be movement, it might be something else. And just knowing that that's valid, and seeking that outside of work, because this can be, we love this field. Obviously, Delaina's here on her vacation. Shelby's worked on her vacation too. We love what we do, but we've got to make sure that we sustain ourselves to keep going and make it supportive.
That's amazing because, yeah, it's a kind of the balance, like Shelby, you were saying, the work-life balance, especially in this field where it can just be emotionally draining. Making sure that you're always going to be able to be there and support others, which is just, it's heroic in a way. It really is. You guys do amazing work, just amazing.
Well, thank you. I have a therapist that's for therapists. So she only does therapy for therapists. So I think that that is amazing to have found her, because being a therapist and getting therapy is very difficult sometimes, because the lines blur a lot, but she's very good at it. So yes, I agree with Taylor. If you can find a great therapist, get you one, because yeah, this work is hard work.
And I did want to kind of jump back a little bit. Delaina, you were talking about during COVID how you had your backyard, but was wondering how this line of work kind of, did it jump up a lot during COVID, or how was that? What did that look like?
Yeah, so for me, I don't know if I'm going to say unfortunately, I had taken a break during that time during COVID. So I really can't speak to how the numbers increased or didn't decrease on a university campus, because I wasn't there during that time. I was doing work with youth, with foster youth during COVID. So that was a very different animal. But even with that, I can say I worked with students who were aging out of the foster care system, and because of COVID and folks having to be inside and not being able to participate in normal activities of life, we did see an increase of students, of young people and young adults who were entering into some very toxic relationships during that time. So that did rise for us. Even working with foster youth, we saw that rose. So I can just imagine how that rose in the IPV field, because we were dealing with it with foster youth who were aging out of the foster care system during that time.
Yes, it definitely increased significantly. I wasn't at InterAct at the time. I was at another domestic violence agency, but our numbers definitely significantly increased. Our shelter was constantly staying full. It was always full anyways, but even the times when we used to have maybe some downtimes, it was never. It was basically one person out, the next person in. But with that has come a lot of changes and a lot of good changes, and able to people are able to access services a little easier now.
And then I recently have done the data for the Women's Center. And so I have looked back on the years of data. And during that time, we did see an increase of our survivor fund. I can say that the survivor fund increased like tremendously during that time. The need for folks for different things to support them while they were at home. Some folks having to decide to stay in relationships because of COVID made it impossible for folks to move or for people to leave those situations or to enter into shelters during that time. So I did notice that in the data, there were increased student activity in the Women's Center, and the Survivor Fund significantly increased during that time.
That's amazing. Just the community kind of, because like you were saying, it is probably a very hard time for people in those situations, especially being having to stay in their house for this long period of time, sometimes with people that they do not feel safe around and they can't get out of
Yeah.
that. So that's amazing hearing everyone kind of showing up. But we're kind of heading towards the end, but I wanted to take this time. Do you guys have anything else that you'd like to add? Go on, talk about any events in the future or how people can get involved?
Yeah, I just want to highlight that our services are free. Our crisis line, 919-828-7740. There's no expectation for someone to call and, be any certain way. We're here for you. And that we're just really thankful to, still be out in the community supporting people who are experiencing both domestic and sexual violence.
Yeah. And I wanted to say that during this work has really given me the opportunity to think about survivors and students and the community and how we show up for each other. I've learned that resilience doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet and it's steady. It's just showing up to class. It's asking for help. It's speaking your truth in a whisper. I've also learned that collective healing is real in the community. Creativity and connection can be just as powerful as any other formal service. Survivors don't necessarily need to be fixed. They need space to be believed, to be supported, and to be seen. I hope that we see more institutions truly centering survivor voices, not just in services, but in decision making. I hope prevention becomes a part of the culture and not just a checkbox. I want to see more men engaged, more intersectional approaches, and more investment in the long-term well-being of our students and of just folks in our community. But beyond NC State, I hope that we continue to move toward more justice models rooted in care and not just in punishment. I think that there are ways to increase justice for folks if we are not always looking at it in a punitive way. I hope that we continue to let students get involved through peer education, volunteering, attending events, or just simply stopping by the center. I want to see folks more in our center coming by. It's just not about sexual violence in our center. It's about uplifting folks, about finding community with each other. It's about finding that support and that safe place to be. We have we have a coffee bar in our center. We have TV. They watch reality TVs shows to talk about how feminism shows up in the world, how we show up as people in the world. So there are lots of fun things to do and activities in the Women's Center. And I just want people to see the Women's Center as a place that they can come and just feel community. And it is not just centered on crisis or just centered on crisis intervention.
I agree with everything you just said there. And also something to add on to what Taylor was saying. Call us. We're here for you. And you don't have to be the person that's experiencing the violence. If your friend, a family member, is experiencing something and you just want to know more information about it or ways to help them or to know how to get them to maybe reach out for services, you can call as well. You can come in as well. We're here for everyone.
No, that's amazing. I was literally just about to ask what you guys hope the future of this work kind of looks like and what people do. So that's amazing. And if you guys want to say, where can people learn more, get connected, or seek help? If you guys want to shout out
Yeah, interactivewake.org is a great website to come visit and just learn about our services. But you can also call our crisis line, 919-828-7740. And we'd be happy to speak with you. I love what Shelby said. We have folks call in just because they want to learn how to best support the ones they love and what they're going through. That's fine. We're here for you. So if you maybe think what you are calling about is silly, it's totally not. We're here to process. We're happy that you're reaching out.
That's awesome. As we come up on the end of our chat, I want to thank you guys all again for coming in and meeting with me and just talking about this really important topic that you guys do. Um, Once again, you guys are heroes and deserve every recognition that you guys get. But yeah, we're gonna end it off. Thank you all for listening to Oak City Move. Once again, I'm your host, Sophia Magnanini, and if you're interested in listening to this episode again or past episodes of the show, you can go to wknc.org/podcast, or make sure to tune into our show every other Monday on WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh. Have a great day.